Jack Harlow is mid. He is so mid. It's indescribable how mid he is. It's not good. It's not bad, but just perfectly mid. So before I get into the reasons why Jack Harlow makes such mid music, let's separate the art from the artist and just look at Jack Harlow as a person. He's a super cool dude. Like, if you look at all of his interviews, any talk show, radio show, he's like super charismatic, super funny, personable, just a really, like, he seems like a really cool dude to like be friends with. And like, I know a lot of people have definitely seen those Drewski interviews when like he's playing basketball.
What is up with the fouling, and why would you say you're fouling so much out here?
You are so fine, bro.
You're really persistent. You're a great guy. What are you looking at, man?
I just wish you were playing, dog, so I could guard you.
I think we're gonna go ahead and kick it to somebody else now. I don't know what you. What the hell type of interview was that?
Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the music itself. What is so disappointing to me is that with all this charisma that Jack has, he brings none of it into his music. None of it whatsoever. It's crazy. Like, you'd think for such a cool and like funny dude, it would translate over to his music, but it does not. And it never has. A lot of people that didn't like his recent album, Come Home, the Kids Miss You, were saying, hey, you know, this album wasn't good because, you know, he's so mainstream now and the industry got him. The industry. He's always been like this. It's just now he has more money and more resources to, I guess, polish the style of music he was making. Nothing has changed from when he first started making music to now other than production value. That's about it. Like, I unironically think that What's Poppin' is his best song ever, like, that he's ever put out, because I think it's the only song that really shows him as a person. Like, it shows his charisma, it shows his wittiness. It's like a catchy song. There's a reason that it did blow up on TikTok. I think that's his best song, which kind of sucks because it's a good song. It might even be a great song, but it's not an amazing song. And to have that be your best song while also at the level of notoriety that you are at now, that raises some red flags for me. Like, a lot of people are comparing him to Drake, which I think is a fair comparison if you look at post-2016 Drake. Because post-2016 Drake and Jack Harlow have a lot in common. One, their beats are bland. Two, their penmanship is not great. Three, it's just like boring music. It's not anything interesting. 2016 and before Drake, you cannot compare Jack Harlow to that. He hasn't made the level of songs that Drake has, or anywhere close. Any of Drake's albums 2016 before blows anything that Jack Harlow has done his entire career out of the water. It's not even a fair contest to put them up against each other. Man, I can't believe people are comparing him to Drake, man. That's crazy. So I was looking through Come Home, The Kids Miss You, and I got to about track 7 when I stopped because I was looking for lyrics, like questionable lyrics or like just poorly written lyrics, and there were, like, there's so many, man. It's ridiculous. All right, let's give some examples. You know, I keep that bread going, Golden Corral. I'ma the earrings off of you. You know my city like the new Korea, bussin'. What does that mean? He has a lot of Korean, not a lot, but 2 bars about Korea.
If I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
Yeah, his other one was, you know I like to dictate things, Kim Jong. And there might be more Korean references later on in the album, but I don't know. I only got to track 7, and then I was just like, what is this? What's going on, man? What am I doing? EJ turned these motherfucking pecs up. We don't need condoms. Let's make a genre. Bro, come on, man. Like, what? Alright, and I'll admit, a lot of rappers nowadays, and even before, have some out-of-pocket lyrics. Like, I will not deny that. Future and Young Thug recently, and Gunna, they've said some out-of-pocket Future on DS2, starting the whole album off with I just your in some Gucci flip-flops. Or on Future's Stick Talk on that album, I ain't got no manners for no I'ma put my thumb in her butt. Like, what? Don't get me wrong, when I first heard these lyrics, I had to pause and I was like, bro, did you just say what I think you said? Re-listen to it, I was like, yeah, he definitely said what I thought he said. But I kept playing it because it was an enjoyable listen. I can listen to like a Future song or a Young Thug song and I'll be playing it and I'll hear some whack ass lyric and just be like, what? And then keep nodding my head. With Jack Harlow, I can't because there's nothing that makes it interesting to listen to. There's nothing that would make me continue wanting to listen to it. And that's where the difference between someone like a Future, someone like a Young Thug, someone even like a Gunna, and someone like Jack Harlow. And then, oh, there's two more. I'm saving the worst for last. But Do It Jiggle though. And the worst, the most egregious one I've seen. Because there might be worse stuff, like, I don't know. I only got through less than half the track listings, but I'ma have you cream filled on some donut. Bro, what? What? And you'll notice a common theme with these lyrics. Come Home the Kids Miss You is basically just 45 minutes of Jack Harlow going, and that's it. It's 45 minutes of that and it's over. Like, off the top of my head, I can think of maybe 3 tracks. One was the one where he sampled Fergie, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I remember that one. I think it's called First Class. And then State Fair, which I think was the only song that I like genuinely enjoyed from start to finish. I actually did like that song. I think there was one lyric on that song that really resonated with me. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, okay, like, you're not trash at writing, let's just do this for a whole album. I think the bar was like, I'm an artist, man, but you just make fun of things, which I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. Which, yeah, I guess I'm making fun of it, but he's the artist, I'm the commentator, so, you know, playing our parts. And then the last song was, Dua Lipa, which, I don't know, like, it was, that song's kind of weird. Like, it's basically just him just hucking the ball up, shooting his shot from like full court, just blindfolded, like, all right, Dua Lipa. And I think I saw like a TikTok video of Jack Harlow explaining to people that, you know, prior to releasing the album, he contacted Dua Lipa to like make sure it was cool that he put out this song, because it would be like super weird if he didn't. It'd be a whole nother like Kanye Taylor situation. I made that bitch famous. And I think like Dua Lipa's response was like so unenthusiastic. I think she was just like, yeah, like, it's your music.
She was like, oh, I mean, it's not my song. I suppose it's okay. She was just kind of thrown off, and she just let it go, so
I don't know. Just weird vibes. This dude is so horny, man. God, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, you already got so many women in love with you, bro. Like, you don't need 45 minutes of you just trying to make more women love you. Like, at least with State Fair, there was like some actual substance to that song. What disappoints me the most about this album is, I'm not gonna lie, it had potential to be good. With Jack Harlow's huge recent success, he definitely had the time, the resources, and the money to really put his all into this album and make it something good. You know, prove to people that, hey, like, I'm a serious artist. Like, you know, you can have like a couple songs where you're just like trying to get women. That's cool. I'm not mad at that, you know? If you want to do that for like 4 or 5 songs out of a 15-song album, go for it, man. Like, I'm not gonna judge you, but 14 of your songs are that, it gets so, like, it gets so repetitive. It gets so boring. It's like, it doesn't make me want to listen to it. Like, I hope this wasn't Jack Harlow's putting 110% effort into it, because if it is, he'll never make a good album. Like, unless some crazy thing happens and, like, I don't know, he pulls like a Chance the Rapper and takes acid and then just makes acid rap too. Like, I don't see him ever putting out a good album, which is super disappointing to me, because the potential was there. Like, the Fergie song, First Class, that's such a good sample. It's such a good, everyone knows it. It's super catchy. And yeah, people play it at parties and stuff, but he did not utilize the sample in a creative way at all. He literally was just like saying words, and then Fergie would speak and like finish his sentence. At first I was like, oh my god, like, oh, this is genius, this is so cool. But that was just the nostalgia talking, and then once that wore off, I was like, all right, wait, this could have been so much better than it was. Why did you do this? You ruined a perfectly good opportunity. And another thing he ruined was, I don't remember what song it was, but I remember he had a Snoop Dogg feature. And if you get a Snoop Dogg feature, you cannot fumble the bag. But Jack Harlow fumbled the bag. Like, oh my god, bro, you had Snoop's blessing. You could have done so much better. And if that was really giving it your all, putting everything you have into this album, I hate to say it, but I don't think you're a good artist then. Like, if this is the best you can do, it's not great. I am excited to see him in the White Boys Can't Jump sequel. He's acting in it. I think he's the main character. I'm not really sure if he can even act, because no one's really seen him act before, but if he can act, I think acting would be a better medium for him as an artist to really showcase his personality, showcase his talent, because his music is not it. That concludes this video. Main takeaways: Jack Harlow is mid. He's always been mid. And when I say mid, you might think that mid means, not bad. But in my eyes, mid is worse than bad. Let me put a caveat on that. If you're trying to do something as an artist and fail, and it's considered bad, I think the artistic risk that you take merits more respect than just putting out something that will do okay, but isn't the best that you can do. Like, take Kid Cudi's Speeding Bullet to Heaven, for example. I do want to make a separate hot take on that, because y'all disrespecting that album. That album is not bad. It's bad, but it's not bad. I'll explain more of that in episode 2 of Hot Takes, but yeah, so that album was something that Kid Cudi experimented heavy on. Before, yeah, there was a genre fusion of rock and elements of rock in his rapping and in beats and his rapping style, but the turn that he took on Speeding Bullet to Heaven was so different. Like, it was such a creative risk that I have so much more respect for that album than I do for Jack Harlow's album and any other mid album. So yeah, mid isn't necessarily better than bad. It's most of the time, in my eyes, mid is worse. Like, take fashion, for example. If you really want to push the boundaries of fashion and do something that you want to do, it's called trial and error for a reason. It's not called trial. Sometimes you'll make a pretty trash fit, but you learn from it and try to make the next one better. But if you just make mid fits your whole life, like, I think in my mind that is so much worse, because you're not willing to take that risk, that creative risk. And if you're not into fashion and you're at base level fashion and you just dress because it's illegal to not be dressed, then that's cool. But if you're into fashion and you just make mid fits, that's when I have a problem. And for artists, which is their job to make music, it's the same thing. If Jack Harlow had tried something spectacular and failed at it, I wouldn't be mad at it. Like, yes, it would still be kind of a bad album, but I would at least have more respect for him as an artist, going, hey, you know what, he tried this idea, it didn't work, hopefully the next time he'll get it down, or he'll do something similar to it and get it down. Because at least with stuff like that, it gives me hope that artists can make something great. With something mid, it's just like there's nothing to expect the next time but more mid. Like, it's an endless cycle of mid, and I hate that. I think that is so bad for music. I think that is so bad for any creative medium. So yeah, mid is worse than bad most of the time. If it's bad, if it's like bad, like Tones and Eyes, anything that they have ever made, then yeah, it's worse than mid. But yeah, mid is not good. Mid is not good.